would ask how everyone's Halloween plans are going, but I know tomorrow morning we've got a mandatory costume party with the combat. I believe in line with recent events, it's bring your own alcohol violations. So today, I'm going to tell you about my favorite story. My favorite story, it's all-encompassing. It took a couple thousand years to write. And honestly, it's one of my favorite stories because all my favorite people, including the people in this room, are included in that story. To me, it's a story that took, a couple thousand years to perfect. But it's better than any story that any Stephen King, any William Shakespeare, or any Nathaniel Hawthorne, even though you were in your sophomore year of high school, could ever write. My favorite story, of course, is history. History encompasses all subjects, from mathematics to drama. My favorite story within history would be the assassination of my favorite dictator, Julius Caesar. As his best friend looked him in the eyes and plunged that knife into him, he uttered the words, "Et tu, and you, Brutus." It was his best friend that plunged a knife that ended his life. It's the best story of betrayal that you could ever hope to read. Now, my love affair with history began at a very early age. When I was just a wee Pferdmenges, my grandfather took me, sat me on his lap, and in a much more World War II sailor seasoned vocabulary, vulgar as it was, he said, "Kid, let me tell you a story about a guy not much older than you, not much taller than you. His name was Napoleon." Now, of course, he spared no graphic detail about how this grand invention called the guillotine kind of certified his rise to power. But in the essence of what he told me, even with every gory detail, he told me of a man who was strong enough to endure on himself, but yet strong enough to fail on himself. That began my love affair with my favorite subject in nature. I hope one day to basically educate people about history. Now, the controversial things about history are that it can be spun, and it's usually written by the victors. Winston Churchill was quoted as saying such during World War II, the Blitz of Britain, that history will be kind to me, for I intend to write it. Winston Churchill was also known for his wit. When a lady came up to him and said, "You're drunk," and he said, "Ma'am, you are ugly, but I will be sober in the morning, and you will still be ugly." Stuff like that always kind of made me chuckle, But I owe it all to my grandfather. He was so avid with history, especially in the Napoleonic era, that he had a study completely devoted to everything. He had these miniature lead soldiers that he would paint graphically with every little detail, from the buttons on their jacket to even the mustache on their faces. Everything was so grandiose about history. And there's always something new about it. But my favorite part of history is that it's living. Right now, you guys, no matter how small it seems, are making history. Everything you do can be recorded, written down, or shared. That means so much to me because it makes me realize that everything I do has to be important. Important in the small details. That with every move I make, I can be recorded as doing that. But I encourage you to go out to learn history, to actually learn, because I know for most people, especially at this school, history class is nap time. Let's be honest. Okay? No one really cares about some 1,000-year-old dead guys, But to actually pay attention to this history class, focus on the details. Go out and learn, because you can learn from history. It is the ultimate teacher. Because everything you have done or faced has already been experienced, whether or not in the exact same context. You can learn things about your own life or other people's lives to make your story more profitable for you. Another thing I would like to encourage is keep a journal. Write down your own life. Because in a couple years, who knows? Maybe someone will learn your history. And honestly, to not share that with the world is selfish. Because it's not your story or my story. It's history.